What's happening, YouTube and my fellow trio trucker community? I wanted to make a video this morning, chop it up with y'all. And this video is gonna be titled, Put Your Pride Aside. Well, probably about right under a year ago, a fellow truck driver, senior driver, with about 20 years experience in the game, he came to me and he told me, he say, I'm about to bail out. I'm like, what you mean, man? He say, man, I'm either finna sell my truck or park my truck and go get a company job. Now, at that time, I had a lot going on. And I understood we was under a new law where the rates was dropping, the freight was getting slim and next to none, but I still was doing okay. And so I looked at OG and I was like, good as this shit is, man, OG tripping. But probably about 7 or 8 months later, OG wasn't tripping. And I talked to him. I talked to him yesterday. And I told him that I made the move he made probably about 7, 8 months ago. And he told me something that reminded me, I let my pride take me down when business-wise, I should not have been loyal to that situation for that long. It was nobody's fault but my own. Because when I was talking to certain people in the office, they was assuring me that, hey, it'll get better next month, or hey, it'll get better soon. And then they started stretching it out. But I realized that OG had gave me a fair warning that shit was going downhill. And he bailed out. I hadn't talked to him since, but when I caught up with him yesterday, he let me know he bailed out right on time, and he didn't take too much of a hit or too many losses, and he doing quite well. He explained to me a lot of the fellow brothers that he spoke to who also hadn't bailed out, they were losing their shirts. So I informed them that, say, I made that move. I almost lost my shirt. I lost my sleeves. I lost my lower belly part to where I was wearing a shimmy shirt. You see what I'm saying? But I let them know. I parked mine too. The day before I parked mine, I had another breakdown. You know what I mean? I said, but it's no big deal. But I understood trying to operate that equipment in this type of climate where the rates are dropping, the fuel surcharges are dropping or being taken away, you know what I'm saying, on empty miles and whatnot. And so I felt like with the maintenance that I have right now to survive, it couldn't stand another major breakdown. 3, 4 major breakdowns in 1 year, that was enough. You know what I mean? So here's the flip side where don't let your pride, you know what I'm saying, get in the way of you staying on your feet and making a killing instead of a living. I let my pride keep me in that position. I let being complacent keep me in that position. But I know that for you to elevate, for you to get somewhere different in life, change is necessary. Don't be afraid to change. So I made that change after taking a bunch of lumps and bruises and whatnot. And so reporting and doing in that change as of now is not so bad. I'm actually making about the same amount of money as a company driver at a lower wage without all the deductions. Those of you who want to be an owner operator in the near future, if you're going to have a newer truck with a truck note, you have to consider that coming out. You have to consider if you don't have your own plates, the plate program. If you're going to be an owner operator with your own authority, you have to consider the insurance and all the other things you have to have to pay the IFTA tax, this and that. And it's just so many deductions. So you might make a good amount of money that you gross, but about time you net, you might still be making the same type of money that a company driver making. And I hadn't been a company driver in quite a long time. I'd have to say 6 years. So a lot of things has changed in 6 years. I'm fooling with drive van, and it's very easy compared to the intermodal game. The intermodal game, you have to deal with different components, the chassis and the boxes, the containers. And those are sometimes rusted out, I'm talking about raggedy pieces of equipment that's very heavy, you know what I mean? And sometimes the crank handles are messed up. It's just a whole bunch of elements that goes along with that. And it makes it a little bit more different than drive van. But the pay wise right now, as of today, company driver, drive van, man, I'm making almost the same amount of money I was making as an owner operator. Now I'm going to hold on to my truck. Hold on my heart. Yeah, I'm going to hold on to the green machine because maybe I'll return because I do have a plan. You dig? I have a little list that I put together of my research that when I return, I'll kind of be recession proof, food proof, full proof. And that'll be when I return. But until then, I'm going to stay a company driver. But where I started at, it's a pretty good place. It's nice. It's, you know what I mean? They got some good equipment, up to date, whatnot. And they're cool. They're not as strict and they're not as like wanting me to stay on the clock like I thought they would. They're working with me the way I want to be worked with, which is fine. But the money is not what I'm looking for. I'm not trying to make a living. I'm trying to make a killing. You see what I'm saying? So there's so many different offers for a driver like myself. And I'm starting to look at some of those, and it's tremendous. The increase of what they're wanting to pay is tremendous. And this one place where one of my friends at right now, he told me the type of money that he's making weekly, and it blows us out the water as being owner operators. So what would be the reason in this climate, in this time, to want to still be an owner operator when you can go work for a company and stop the expenses on the owner operator side and let somebody else take on the expenses and you still make almost the same type of money as an owner? I would think it's just foolish pride. So lay your pride aside and get to that paper. Hey, this Trill Trucker talk for your homie. He's elite. Know what I'm talking about? It's going down. Yeah, yo.